Good morning, everybody. It's a very rainy day. It's kind of chilly too. It's like 33 degrees, 34 degrees. It's raining quite heavily outside. This morning I kicked the Belgians out for a little while and got the barns all cleaned up. But now, as you can see, they are just standing at the door wanting to come back in. Now, a lot of people especially in the comments, have been saying how they prefer their horses outside and not in straight stalls like this. And I'm not going to go on and on about the straight stall business, but we've talked enough about that. But it's just nice to know that my horses are outside wanting to come back into these stalls that they have. And I don't really like to have horses outside in the rain when it's this cold. I'm sure they're fine. If that's what you do, it's fine. But I don't know, I feel better if they're inside. But they do need a little exercise. So I'm going to bring these two in, and then I'm going to put the blacks outside because I really want to work Ken today, but it's so wet I probably won't be able to. Although maybe later this afternoon I might be able to get out for a quick jog with him to give him a little more exercise. But he's going to go outside for a little while this morning, and then we're going to be putting harnesses on the Colts. So I want to take you through that and share that with you. I did want to comment on one thing. We've had some comments recently of people a little bit confused with and I'm not sure if I get this word right, the Percherons. And what that is just a way for you viewers to help us financially. The money that we get from the Percherons, which isn't a lot, but it goes towards our cameras, our audios. This is actually the second set of audios that we had. The first set is already broke. We sent it back to the company, and hopefully they're going to reimburse us and send us another, send a new one back. But something went wrong and it broke. So the money from Percheron is going towards camera equipment so that we could possibly produce a better quality video. But the question has been from people is they don't know how much money to share. And it's a monthly thing that I guess comes right out of your account. Is that how it works, Brenda?
Yeah, I think that's how it's set up, yes.
And so, but the average, and you can give whatever you like, but the average is $3 or $4 a month that people are giving. There may be a minimum, I don't know, $1 or whatever it might be, but so that's what that's about. So anyways, let's bring the Belgians in and kick the Percherons if they go out. I think they will. Come on, Dale. Okay, they're soaking wet, but we're gonna let these guys out to get a little exercise, and if the weather cooperates, maybe this afternoon I might have time to give them a little bit of exercise on the sled. Hey, bud. Come here. Back. Back. Back up. Back up. All right, Ken, get out of here. Get. Come on, get. Ken, come on. Come on. The ground is still somewhat frozen, so it's not like they're in the mud too bad, but it's just cold and damp and miserable out there. I know I don't want to be out there, but they won't be out there very long. So now we'll go on to the Colts. Okay, here we are in the Colts. Brenda's just finishing up brushing for me, and now I'm going to put some harnesses on. I've put harnesses on them all a little bit, so this is not the very first time that this has been happening, but I've got the one harness here is semi adjusted to them, and I had some collar problems, so I got some collars. I can't remember, I don't think I've showed you with the newer collars, but I've got some collars that I'm trying, and I've tried them and they work for what I'm going to do with these Colts. So yeah, let's see about throwing some harnesses on. So we got some collars that we're using. Now, for some of you new viewers, welcome to start with. But these Colts have been a process of training. They turn 1 year old in June and July. Earl's the oldest.
Yeah,
Earl's was born, he'd been a year old in July, and Duke is a year old in June. As they've been progressing, I've been actually putting them on the scales, which we haven't done for a while. We need to do that again sometime. And progressing on showing their weights, and the collars even, I've tried the collars on a while ago, and they're way too small, and they're growing so fast. These aren't even going to last that long, although it's hard to say. So this collar here is actually a 24-inch collar, I believe. Yeah, so that's a 24-inch collar. I hope that's the right one that I used the other day. So we'll put that one on Earl. I'm not so sure it's the right one. Get her. Come here. If this is a 24-inch collar, it should be way too big. And it is. So that's not the one. Oh, here it is. I knew I had it around somewhere. I had it hanging over here. Okay. So this is not a 24-inch. This is a 21-inch collar.
So it goes to this thing right here when you're measuring?
Yeah,
Just for
from here to here.
Yeah, okay.
I've talked about this before, but if anyone's new, it's a good reminder also. So we'll put this on Earl. Get Earl. Both these guys have been very good as I've been fooling them with them to allow me to throw it over their heads. So that one there.
It's amazing.
For right now, fits just fine. Of course, I've said this before, they're not actually going to do any working for still another couple years. But I'm just fooling with them and getting them trained to drive. And so that collar will work just fine for that. Okay. This is a harness that I bought that was it was used for a pair of halflingers. And so I thought it'd work great for these guys for a while. And it will, but they will outgrow it pretty darn fast. I did go up to Eli's, the harness maker, and actually put a deposit down for my new harnesses that I'm going to get. Probably what will happen is we'll take Lady's and Bill's harness and use them like next summer for these guys. So Lady and Bill can have a new set of harnesses. Okay, so if you want to come over here. So I've already used these or set these up before, so this fits quite nicely. I've talked about this on my other talk with the harnesses. These hames have to fit right in the collar properly with this top strap going approximately flat across. You don't want it bowed way down, and there's just different adjustments to do that. All my other harnesses they have a ratchet thing on the bottom of my hames, which I really like, but these I just am using as strap. So the hames are on, so I take the Percheron and slide it over his butt. Now this harness I already somewhat adjusted for these horses, but as you can see, they're just about, all of these straps are adjusted full length, and it fits okay. This should be down maybe another inch, but it's not too bad. Now also, with all my other harnesses, they are D-ring harnesses, which I much prefer, but this is a Western style harness, and actually most people prefer these type of harnesses, but I don't know, I really like the D-ring harnesses. But this strap here will actually go down, oh, I can't even remember what it's called, but it doesn't matter. Goes down and hitches to another strap that goes towards to hitch to the poles, to the tongue of the wagon or whatever you're using. But for right now, I'm just gonna leave this up here But as you can see, this tug itself, this is where the belly girth goes, and that's not even the right spot. It should be back here, because this is where the belly girth should go. So that way this is set up with that thing, that won't even really work properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this slide so that his back pad belly girth is closer to where it belongs. I'm going to take this off also, I think, and hitch it here. I don't know, I just really don't like these harnesses at all. But so I'm going to go around and readjust the boy, I might for right now just leave this up here and keep everything loose. So I'm going to get the belly girth, but I see the tug is falling off, so I want to fix that first. Get a.
So how many times have they had harnesses on?
This is third or fourth time I've thrown them on their backs. So now I'm going to swing over here and hitch the belly girth loosely. I'm not going to have it tight at all. Don't need it tight anyways, but especially now being Colts, I don't want a tight belly girth. Hey, Earl, get up. Earl, get up. Get up. Get over. Get over. Oh. So I'm coming under here and grabbing the belly girth, swinging around, and hitch it in place. I would like to still run this strap up, but it's going to suck everything together. I can adjust this a little bit.
But this really should be back here.
It should, but it's fine for
Right.
what little we're doing. I don't know what most guys do. Maybe you guys could tell me out there. I'm not used to these Western style harnesses, and I personally just don't like them. You know how it is. You have used something all your lives. You have a preference to it. That's all you've ever used. So you get something new. It just does not seem to work out quite right for you. But anyways, this strap here, and I know what it's for, but when you don't let it just hang when you unhitch it, do you? You must hitch it somewhere. I don't know, but I'm going to hitch it right there. That seems like the logical place to hitch it. Okay, so that's good for him. All he would need now is his bridle. Of course, I'm not going to actually work him, but I would like to go out and just lead him around with the harness on, because just the flapping of all this stuff could spook a horse, and they need to get used to it. So I've never actually led them with a harness on. They've always just done it right here as far as harnessing them up, but I want to do that today. But let's get Duke harnessed up first, and I'll just take one at a time out. I may put the bridles on before I go, or I may not. We'll see. We'll see how they react. So this is the other collar I was able to find for Duke. It's a little bit bigger than Earl's collar, so that's why we have this old sweat pad on, and it's actually a very long sweat pad, so it overlaps down here, which is fine. So what's going to happen is going to be the same size collar, 21 inch as Earl's is, but this actual collar is probably a 23, or it might have even been a 24 inch collar. But with this heavy, long sweat pad, you know, for our situation right now, it'll work just fine. So I'm just going to leave this right here for right now and grab my other harness so it's close by, because I don't like to have horses standing around with just the collars on for any longer than you have to, because they'll get into a habit of tipping the head down and trying to loosen the collar. So I'll be right back with the harness. These harnesses are light as a feather compared to my other harnesses. Okay, get it out. Get it out. Get it out. Get it. It's amazing. I've put these collars on maybe 6 times, and how well they do as they allow me to throw that collar over their heads. They do quite well. Okay, as you can see, this hame and collar setup looks terrible. You got a big gap there. So what I'm going to do is this top piece here has to slide to the very top, And it's possible that these hames won't, it's possible I won't be able to adjust these hames to even fit this collar. But we'll see if we can get a little bit closer at least. So it's just a matter of unhitching this. Sometimes these will slide up. That one did. Okay, they did. Sometimes you actually have, if your strap is too heavy, you got to take the strap out and actually pull it in one at a time. But anyways, we're going to have to keep this pretty long probably. Like I said, I don't expect these hames to fit this collar, but for what little we're going to be using with them, it'll be fine. Okay, so that's where that hame is going to have to set to fit the collar. In the process, this is this is way too low. This collar needs a completely different set of hames, because this, where this strap goes, should be pretty well level across. So you can just order different size hames. But let's see if we can't get this possibly connected up enough to start the training process. Duke, you're a pain in the neck.
Cute. Super cute. Stop it, Dookie.
He's a difficult one to discipline because he has never really done any biting, but he wants to nibble at things. And so, of course, I can't allow that. And but in the process, he's just doing it for fun. So I hate to be too harsh on him because I know he's not doing it to be mean. But I do have to, and I do once in a while, give him a slight crack just to have him stop. And he's doing pretty good. He's not too apt to bite. Okay, so the hames are on. They're not at all right. They're way too short. As you can see, the top strap is really bowed around his top of the collar, which is not good. The bottom is fitting somewhat properly. I just used what I had.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't matter at this stage.
See the difference between Earl's and Duke's?
Absolutely.
hames.
That's because that's a 21-inch collar, and this is a 23-inch collar. So I don't believe I've had this harness on these horses. I'm sure I haven't. So it's going to take me a few minutes to adjust this, but see, I can't even pull the britchin over his butt. So hopefully there's enough adjustment. There was on that one, so hopefully there's enough so I can at least use these horses for the initial training stage. So to start with, this strap here has to be shortened right up to lengthened right out. Okay, I finally got this adjusted for Duke. I was able to get this strap here lengthened out, and I thought I would have to need to lengthen these out, and they've been sitting around and rusted too much. I need to get some WD-40 on there, so I can't even get this to adjust. But as it turns out, it's not bad. It fits pretty good. I think it's time to go take them for a little walk. You know, standing here not moving, the harnesses doesn't affect them seemingly at all. But when you go outside and start walking around, all that harness jingling all over their body could spook them a little bit. So that's why it's good just to do it like this. Before we go though, I'm going to put the bridles on them. I won't bother leading them with the bridles on, although it doesn't really matter. But I've got this bridle here. It does not even have a throat latch, so I can't even secure on. But I'm going to just see how they take the bit. Seems like maybe I tried them both one other time, but maybe it's just one of them. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'm not going to take the halters off, which I would normally do with my experienced horses, but with Colts, I usually work them for some time with the halters on. So let's just see how they put the bridle on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the bridle over, partially over his head, and just, of course, they're just such biters as it is. They bite everything. They have always biting so much stuff. They open their mouths right up, no problem. But when I have time, sometime when I have them, a lot of times with Colts, I will have them tied up for hours outside where I hitch them, and you know, they'll spend time with their bridles on, harnesses on, just standing there for hours and hours on end. And they get used to the bridle. See the bit there? He's chewing it around. He's not sure what to think of it.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit tight. It should be probably one notch, you know, longer, so it's not quite so tight on him. But yeah, I'd say he did pretty well for that. So I'm going to take this bridle off instead of trying to adjust it just right, because when I want to really use it again, it may have to adjust a lot more. But I want to put it on Duke and see how he handles it. So I just slide off the ears like this, and it just drops right out. Right. In some ways, when they're eating is a great time to put a bridle on, because their mouth is chewing, and so it's they're opening their mouth up some. So I just do the same thing, slide over there, and slide it right in. I will show you something in a second. Let me just put it on, see how he likes to chew with it.
Right there.
Yeah. So this bridle does not and never will fit him. Even another month from now, it'll be even worse. A lot of bridles will have an adjustment right here, and this does not. So because of that, the blinder is too high on his eye. This strap right here is too short. It doesn't allow this to stay straight. So there's nothing good about these. I mean, nothing the right size about these bridles. Like I said earlier, I've got a new set ordered, and I think he made it sound like January, February, he'll have them done. And so I really won't use these. I'm not going to spend too much time with these harnesses because I'm not going to use them much. So anybody out there has a need for some halflinger horses and want a set of harnesses, it was not a very good investment for me to buy these, but I didn't spend a lot of money on them either. So I would have them for sale. So I want to show you one other thing though. I'm going to take this bridle off. And I kind of talked about this before, but when you have a horse that doesn't like to put the bridle on, if you hold it right here with your couple fingers like that, and just take your thumb and stick right there, they will just open their mouths right up. It's a spot in the mouth where there's no teeth, so you can stick your thumb right in there behind those set of front teeth, and they just will almost always open their mouths right up. So that's just a little way for you to harness your horses if you have horses, if you're having troubles with them opening their mouths. Okay, why don't we see if they can walk around?
I'd like to say they seem kind of traumatized by all this.
Oh, this is just an awful thing. I abuse them so much. You have to be very careful with a situation like this because, of course, there's not a lot of room in these stalls here. Get up, Duke. And you got to be careful because as you're leading a horse first time like this with harness on, if this harness was to snag up onto something, it's going to spook them. So when you're up leading them, always keep that in mind, because if they spook, they may jump ahead and run into you. But just the importance of not letting them get too spooked in the process of doing this, because it just takes them a little longer to calm down. So these first lessons are actually quite important to do it in such a way that they don't get spooked. It just speeds up the process. When you have a setback, then you kind of got to start over again. It's raining today, and it's icy out there. I don't know, I was going to go through the barn, but that's a little risky because if I catch onto something that's more apt to cause troubles, although I got a fairly good spot to walk in the barns. But it's not raining right at the moment, so I guess we'll just go out in the yard and just walk around and come back, and that's all we'll do with them for today. Each of these little things, you know, it seems like you're not doing anything, you're not training, but every time you touch a horse, you're training a horse. And so, you know, you don't have to, horses aren't trained boom like that overnight. Horses are trained one step at a time. So don't feel bad when you don't seem to have you're not getting a lot done. If things are going well, you're training and it's a good training. All right, come here. These horses have been led so much, not only by hand like this, but by having the tail come behind on the sled too. So they're doing great as far as leading. So that's all I'm going to do for today as far as Earl. I'll pull the harness off. And as you can see, it was just a short little lesson, but that's plenty. That's all he needs. My water? Come on. It's still a little icy out, so we've got to watch where we're walking. It's thawing out fast. It's supposed to be up in the 40s today, I think, and I think in the 50s tomorrow. The way this wind is blowing, something definitely is rolling in. I've had troubles over the years with wind and horses on some days, so even today I've got to be careful. Well, I hope you enjoyed our video today. We will continue, hopefully, to share with you the process of training these colts, and that should be fun for all of us, I hope. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time.